Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Right, article here. Put it in the description box as always. Go give it a read. Where Dillian Whyte has said that he wants Dominic Breazeale and he wants in either April or May. Now, this is a fight that I've been pushing for quite some time. When I had Dillian on the channel here a little while ago and previous to that as well. I did say to him that Dominic Breazeale will probably be the ideal fight to become the mandatory. And you know what, he totally agreed with all of that. And of course, he said that if he can't get Joshua or Wilder, he wants Dominic Breazeale. And I'm going to break down all the reasons for it. But anyway, Dillian Whyte's statement first. This is what Dillian Whyte had to say. I definitely want to fight Breazeale. It doesn't need to be PBC. It could be on Matchroom and Sky Sports. If he wants to fight, we can fight. It's an easy fight to make. Let's make it. Let's do it end of April or early May. What can he offer me to come to America? I'll offer him more to come to the UK. So that is Dillian Whyte's statement. So just on that little bit there about PBC, Matchroom, Sky Sports, Dillian Whyte manages his own events. Okay? So, for example, him versus Derek Chisora was shown on Showtime over in America. Because Dillian Whyte chooses, does it go on DAZN? Does it go on ESPN? Does it go on show? He can choose whatever he wants. It's not Eddie Hearn. Dillian Whyte is nothing to do with DAZN. It's a case of whoever offers the most money is what Dillian Whyte's going to take. Apparently DAZN were messing him about with the whole Chisora thing because originally DAZN were on the poster when the fight was first announced. But because they were messing about for whatever reason, Dillian Whyte was like, no, you know what, screw you lot. Showtime, you can show it. So that's why it's shown on Showtime, not DAZN. So there is that option anyway. So him versus Breazeale can always be shown on Showtime anyway if Dominic Breazeale really wants it, or Fox. Obviously, that's all part of the PBC as well. So it's not really going to be an issue for Dillian Whyte. It's not going to be a stumbling block. He's not tied to DAZN. So there's that bit. Now, why Dominic Breazeale when he could potentially fight Anthony Joshua next? Again, let's break down Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte. So Dillian Whyte, he defeated Anthony Joshua on Dillian Whyte's amateur debut. Okay, he dropped Anthony Joshua to the canvas and beat him on points. In the pro game, they had their fight and Anthony Joshua beat Dillian Whyte in the pro game. So that is currently Dillian Whyte's only defeat on his record, where he gave a very good account of himself and was the first person to hurt Anthony Joshua. Okay, and this is where a lot of people say Anthony Joshua was chinny and he just takes that one big punch. Listen, he hit Joshua with a pretty decent punch and Joshua was still on his feet. So Joshua's got a very, very good chin. But all that aside, why fight Breazeale when he could get revenge on Anthony Joshua? Especially as people say, well, it's for the titles. He could become champion. If he was to fight Anthony Joshua, defeat him, he then becomes champion, A-side, face of boxing. Of course, he knows all that. Of course he does. But this is a business move, okay? And while he could go fight Joshua now, he could defeat Joshua. He could become champion. And yes, he will earn a lot of money in it. How much money is being offered to Dillian Whyte? Dillian Whyte originally said it was less money than what he got for Derek Chisora. So, and even Eddie Hearn said to Joshua that, you know what, I don't think Dillian Whyte's going to accept this offer because while it's a good offer, it's not a great offer. So they're going back to the table, offering him more money. I'm presuming that they've already done it. Quite what it is, who knows what it could be. According to Eddie Hearn, it's several millions. But good money, right? Now, he could do that, but here's the thing. What happens if Dillian Whyte loses? Listen, he's going to go in there believing he's going to win, and he can do everything that he can win. And if necessary, he will go out on his shield if necessary. You know Dillian Whyte's character. He will fight to the death. He will do everything he can for the win. But what happens if he loses? He's then going to start again. Okay? Yes, he's earned like a fair bit of money, and yes, he got a world title fight. And yes, he got a chance of redemption. Listen, I get it. Dillian Whyte gets it. But with, say, for example, Joshua versus Wilder, Wilder is guaranteed a rematch, win, lose, or draw. So even if Wilder was to lose, he's got another crack at the whip, plus another payday. And there's a very good chance that they'll probably offer Tyson Fury a rematch clause as well. But they're not going to offer that with Dillian Whyte. So if Dillian Whyte does lose, then he's got to start again. He's not going to start rock bottom because he's a very good name in himself anyway. So 2 or 3 fights time, he'll be probably number 1 in another sanctioned body somewhere along the lines. But if he was to fight Dominic Breazeale, and this is where you need to weigh up the business, He won't get paid as much to fight Dominic Breazeale, but long term, he could. And for history, legacy, if it all goes to plan. Because as we know, the WBC have now ordered Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. So it's no longer a voluntary, it's an order, which means no rematch clause has to be put in there. But even if they did put a rematch clause in, the WBC can legitimately turn around and say, no, we're not going to sanction a rematch. So if Tyson Fury was to defeat Deontay Wilder, that doesn't mean Wilder's going to get an automatic rematch, because they're unlikely to go, 3 times in a row? No. Okay, you can have a rematch. We have no issue, Wilder. If you want to try and get revenge on Tyson Fury, we get it. That's fine. But Tyson Fury, our new WBC champion, needs to defend against a mandatory. We've only had one mandatory in 4 years, Wilder, and that's your fault. Okay, so now you're going to wait. So Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte, then potentially Wilder could get the winner. But at that point, if Dillian Whyte was to win, doesn't unification take precedence? So there is always that option. So basically, in short, he fights Dominic Breazeale for the official mandatory. The winner of Wilder versus Fury must fight him next. And if you weigh it up, Joshua or Breazeale, which is a harder fight? Well, it's Joshua, isn't it? Dominic Breazeale is very tough. He's very durable. We know that. And he can bang very, very hard. Okay? Now, Wilder... Listen, right, people say that Wilder said to Dillian Whyte, if you go fight Luis Ortiz, I'll fight you next. This is just taking another man's word for it. In fact, Dillian Whyte said, okay, fine, I'll fight Luis Ortiz, but you need to put it in writing that I'm fighting you next. So no waiting around, no 18 months, no waiting for the mandatory. You fight me next. Deontay Wilder responded to private message saying, I'm not signing that, and I can freeze you out for 2 years. We've all seen this. It's on the DAZN channel. You can go find it. So Dillian Whyte knows he's never going to get a voluntary defence against Wilder. So by becoming the mandatory, Wilder cannot avoid him. Wilder turned down $8 million. And Dillian Whyte said, listen, I'll even come to America. I'll come to your back garden if you want. We can go to Alabama. It's not a problem. But Wilder's still not interested. Clearly, he's scared of Dillian Whyte, whether you think that Wilder beats him or not. Clearly, he's not confident. Okay? So if Dillian Whyte becomes a mandatory, we know that's going to be called next. The winner of Wilder versus Fury will be next. And Eddie Hearn will be looking at this thinking, right, okay, so if Dillian Whyte becomes mandatory by defeating Breazeale, he then fights the winner of Wilder and Tyson Fury. If he was to beat either of those, then the rematch between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte will not only happen, but will be for undisputed. 2 Brits together and 2 of his fighters. So again, you could say, but if Tyson Fury defeats Deontay Wilder, then surely Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury would happen for undisputed. In theory, yes, it could, but as I said, Eddie Hearn, he promotes Dillian Whyte as well. Wouldn't he prefer his 2 fighters going up against it? Why have Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury for undisputed when you can have Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte for that belt, and then the winner fights Anthony Joshua? And in Eddie Hearn's mind, hopefully that would be Dillian Whyte, wouldn't it? So that will be the long-term goal. So all it takes is for Dillian Whyte to defeat Dominic Breazeale. Then he's guaranteed a world title shot for the WBC. If he was to be successful and get that, then him versus Joshua is massive. Anyway, that's probably why he's looking at Dominic Breazeale. This is, in my opinion, what should have happened to start with, rather than him rematching Derek Chisora. I said all this before, and I said it to Dillian Whyte as well. But it does appear that it was Eddie Hearn that wanted Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora. Why? Because it's good money. And you know what? No one can blame him for that. But how do you afford Dominic Breazeale? Although they did offer out to Dominic Breazeale, and he was not very, very forthcoming. So anyway, Dominic Breazeale said that he would like the Dillian Whyte fight as well. So why not? I like this fight. Anyway, I hope I made sense on it all as to why a Dillian Whyte and Dominic Breazeale fight is probably the ideal situation. It's risky. It is risky. As I said before, it's heavyweight. And if it could happen, Dominic Breazeale does hit hard. And if he was to knock out Dillian Whyte, then Dillian Whyte's going to have to start all over again and still didn't get his world title shot. But anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.